I reminded him, and that having a well-known actor like Haver will help boost the ticket sales, a big portion of which will go to things that might otherwise cost tax dollars, all those social service programs we can't otherwise afford, enlightened self-interest. Still, it only takes one rebel to supply him, Michael grumbled, or one starstruck private citizen, or he could be sneaking over to Clay County. They'd love to sabotage anything Carfilly does. Which is why I think it's time to call in Stanley. I'd already talked unofficially to Stanley Denton, Carfilly's leading and only private investigator, about whether he'd be willing to shadow Malcolm Haver as part of our efforts to keep the visiting star sober. Exactly what I was thinking, he said. In fact, I'm just venting to you before going into a meeting with the Dean of Finance to get it approved. Awesome, I said, and good luck. I should go. Robin just got back, and I'd better explain our homicidal musings to her before she reports us to Chief Burke. When you leave Trinity, can you head over to the theater and keep an eye on things there until I finish arguing with Finance? Can do, I said. Love you. Back at you. I hung up and returned my phone to my pocket. Sorry, I said to Robin, who had been listening with unabashed interest as her knitting needles flew through her red and green yarn. Michael's having a tough day and needed to vent. So I gathered. What's he angry about? He was calling more in sorrow than in anger, I said. That's from Hamlet, right? Yes, I said. Quoting Shakespeare's an occupational hazard when you're married to an actor. Especially one who's also a drama professor. Michael was calling to vent about Malcolm Haver, I explained, the actor the college hired to play Scrooge in the stage version of A Christmas Carol that Michael's directing. He and Michael aren't getting along? Even the thought of disharmony seemed to sadden her. Michael tries, I said, but Haver doesn't get along with anyone. He's a nasty, self-centered jerk. Sorry, I know how uncharitable that sounds, but there's just no getting around it, a nasty, self-centered jerk. Walked into the first day of rehearsal with a bad attitude, and that was the peak of his popularity in local theatrical circles. But Michael's a whiz at handling difficult performers, and no one would really care how unpleasant Haver is offstage if he did a good job in the show. Unfortunately, he seems to have fallen off the wagon. Oh, dear. You know we have several very active 12-step programs meeting either here or at the New Life Baptist Church, she began. I know. We've got the flyer prominently posted on the cast information board, I said. I even tried talking him into it once, which wasn't a good idea. He exploded at me and stormed out of the rest of the rehearsal. He sounds like a troubled soul. I'm sure he is. Or maybe just trouble, but I knew better than to say that aloud in front of Robin. But don't try to sympathize with him unless you want to get your head bitten off. He was doing fine at the start of the rehearsal period, but lately he started tippling earlier each day. Michael doesn't have much hope that it will get any better when the show opens. Unfortunately, the way his contract is written, as long as he can stumble on stage, Michael can't fire him. And although I don't know how well it would hold up in court, the contract still calls for Haver to get most of his fee, even if he's fired for cause. Didn't anyone question the contract before signing it? Robin looked surprised. I may be in an unworldly profession, but even I know the value of consulting an attorney before signing legal documents. If Michael were in charge of Santa's naughty and nice list, the college legal department would be getting nothing but coals and switches this year, I said. Why were they the ones reviewing the contract anyway? Robin asked. I know the play's a joint project of the college and the town, but I thought the college was mainly donating use of the theater. And for some reason, they also insisted on being in charge of Haver's contract, I said. I suspect the same board member who got him the part in the first place. If only I'd known to insist that the town attorney handle it, because she'd have run it by Randall and me when Haver's agent came in with a whole bunch of changes that he claimed were standard actors' equity requirements, which was a complete lie. Michael could have told them that if they'd...